new series is called Astonished. And the truth of the matter is we go through this book of Mark, probably the oldest of the Gospels, the first written. It's believed to have been written some 26 years after the death of Christ, nearest to the death of Christ, which honestly makes it of all religious writings, not just from our Christian Bibles, our Old Testament and New Testament, but even in those of other faith constructs, the book of Mark is the closest to the action. It's the closest to the actual event. It's 26 years, it is believed, after the death of Christ. And so even though it finds itself second in our New Testament, it is the first in a chronological order as far as how it was written and discovered. And so we want to share these next couple of months from the book of Mark and this topic, Astonished. The truth is, we all come to faith in Christ. We all come into life with certain constructs, with certain understandings, with certain beliefs. We come with boxes. We come with showing up at a job and we have an expectation of what that job will or will not be like. We go into relationships and marriages and interactions with people, and over time, life and interactions with people have a way of teaching us some things that form some boxes of understanding. I've been here before. I've seen this show before. I know how this works out. If we're not careful because of that, we start to enact, start to put into motion defenses and behaviors and ways of dealing with things because we have a box and we've filled that box with understanding. Life has filled our boxes with understanding of what is and what is not and how things are going to be. We've said it before that the only way that somebody can know what something is to compare it to something. I had a good joke, laugh in the back. If we had more time, I'd have him come up and stand next to me so you know I'm telling the truth. But most of you know Quincy. He is 6'7" and I am not. And so we were kind of joking around in the back. And every time I get around Quincy, I'm reminded that I'm not 6'7" or 5. But if we stand next to my son or stand next to a child, I'm considered tall because compared to him, I'm tall. But compared to Quincy, we're all short. And the idea is we understand things based on what we can compare it to. We understand what it is to be wet because we've been wet before. We understand when it's cold. Somebody would say it's cold. When I talk to my parents, they talk about how cold it is outside because they've moved from Pennsylvania to Florida and now 55 degrees is cold. But we've been through a cold winter. And relative to what we've experienced, we understand what it is like to be cold. We understand everything that goes on in our world, in our life, based on what we can compare it to. So when it comes to our relationship with Christ, we compare Christ to what we know about him. Therefore,